So I am live on this small channel just because I like the instant gratification of this upload going right away. So I was reading this and cackling like a little hyena. And yeah, so I just thought I would share it. We have got, you know, and I, I just read the title of this post in the Neighbors from Hell subreddit, and I already started laughing. As I mentioned, in this subreddit, we have the people who are the neighbors from hell, and then we have the people who are also neighbors from hell who are torturing, okay. So we have people complaining about the neighbors from hell, and then we have the actual neighbors from hell complaining about their neighbors retaliating against them, not realizing that they are the neighbors from hell. So, yeah, this is what I've got here today. So, let's read this subreddit. And I have to tell you, I'm going to try to make it through this, but like I'm dying laughing reading this, okay? So, get this title. Why would my apartment floor be vibrating? Okay. So, I don't know if you know about this, but somebody actually invented a device in order to torture your upstairs neighbors when they piss you off. And basically what it is it's like a thumping machine. It like attaches to the ceiling and it vibrates the floor. Now, in my mind, I was like, this can't be that bad. Like, like it's maybe like a massage for your feet, whatever. I don't know. But it, like apparently it drives people crazy. Okay. So when I saw this title, I started laughing. All right. So here we go. Okay, this is kind of crazy. My apartment floor has been vibrating about 2 weeks. It just started one night. Okay. And by the way, when I see a title like this and like this person's getting tortured, I like reading this because it'll crack me up. But like in my mind, I'm also thinking, what were these people doing? So sometimes they'll reveal how they were being annoying in the post. So let's see if that comes up. Okay. So this person says it just started one night, would go hour on, hour off throughout the night. Oh shit, that's annoying. After about a week, it's about 50-50 all the time. Maybe more, like 75% of the time. I can feel it laying in my bed. My body is used to it and I can sleep fine. It's just so odd. It's getting hard to tune out during the daytime. It's very strong, like there's a motor right beneath my floor. It's a steady vibration. I can feel it sitting in my recliner chair. I can feel it when it's happening in every inch of my apartment, from bathroom to kitchen. No, I'm not crazy. Carbon monoxide working fine. Don't feel it in other places, etc. Brother came over and said he felt it too. So, like I said, I can sleep with it, but it's getting to bother me, and I don't know if I can just put up with it. So, the neighbor below me was horrible with noise for months, blasting music or TV all night. He finally stopped after many warnings and an eviction threat. So it started happening a few days after a minor incident where he banged my ceiling, telling me to be quiet during daytime hours when he had just been louder a little while earlier. There it is, guys. There it is. So the neighbor was banging on the ceiling. The neighbor was telling him, like, retaliating with this loud music and this loud TV. So the upstairs neighbor, maybe they were doing something like being fucking annoying. Or maybe, like people are sensitive to noise and stuff like that. And like it's kind of hard being an upstairs neighbor. Like I consider myself a super, well, until the past like 6 months. My entire life, I'm like a super considerate neighbor. And like if I had to choose somebody to be my roommate or my neighbor, I'd pick myself. Like I'm super responsible, whatever. And I always like think about other people. And then I kind of realized that's just going to get me screwed over in living in apartments in life, especially in Mexico. I just kind of realized that instead of like sitting back and like being annoyed about the party going on all around me, that I need to take up my own space and have my own damn party. And generally, yeah, I like quiet, I like peaceful things. But I like my, whatever they call them. There's like this 369 Tesla healing 532 hertz codes on YouTube. So I'll put on these like really loud healing tones and stuff like that. Or if I'm listening to a lecture, I'll like crank it on really loud so I can go around my whole apartment and do things, go around my whole house. Whereas normally I'm so considerate. I'm like, let me put on headphones at home and let me put my phone into a fanny pack so I can carry it around and do chores because I don't want to disturb anybody. No, you know, part of that is like an emotional healing for me. It's taking up space, it's saying that I belong, it's putting out my voice, my existence, my experience into my environment. And I kind of realized that's like a carryover from my childhood. I learned to be really, really small, to not make any noise, to not call any attention. And yeah, when I was like 2 years old, up to age 2, my mother would like go to work and lock me in a bedroom by myself. And then later in life, like locking myself in my bedroom, it became my like safe place. It became like a thing that I would just do on my own. It's like really sad. And hide away. And I still kind of have a tendency to be like that to this day. And I'm really working on becoming the person who I want to be. And the person who I want to be is not someone who's like sitting there like a raw nerve, freaking out about and, hypervigilantly listening to every noise to get upset about it. And a thing about hypervigilance, which you get from having like abusive parents or growing up in dangerous environments, is that I am so observant. Like I can tell things about people really quickly. I can tell if I see somebody like down the block walking and their actual image is obscured by trees. This has happened a couple of times where I can just kind of see someone's feet walking. I can tell by their feet if they're going to be trouble. Even if they have like normal shoes, not like, nothing, I can tell by their feet and the way they're walking, the pace, like everything, if they're weird. And yeah, it's super strange. And I can hear, like, I have supersonic hearing. So, it's really funny. It cracks me up. I had a cat like that in Montana, and her name was Fluffy. And she went through so much trauma, this poor little girl. Her sister got killed when she was little and she was by herself. And, she was trying to survive in this crazy farm environment with all these big, equipment and predators and other cats that want to fight for territory and whatever. And so from a very young age, she became very, she's super hyper vigilant. And yeah, as she became an adult, she would notice every little thing, and she was the best hunter. She would always come back with some kind of crazy thing. All the cats are like, "Where'd you get that from?" kind of thing, right? Because, yeah, like out on the prairie, it's hard to hunt for things because there's nowhere to hide, right? If you're like a cat in the woods or something, you can hide behind a tree trunk, you can, whatever. But to just catch something out on the prairie, like where, there's not even trees for birds to go into, so, but she was a great hunter because of that hypervigilance. So it can be a gift, but like many super or extrasensory gifts, you have to know how to turn it off so that you can live your life and not be like plagued by it your whole life. So yeah, that's one way I do it now. I was really irritated when I first came here, and I was irritated by this with people in Canada and the United States, don't get me wrong, but in Mexico, it's like on crack. The numbness to noise, right? Anyone who's followed my content for a long time, that I'm like highly irritated by people who are numb. They're numbed to their environment. And because of this, it is a detriment to people who share their space. Whether it's a work environment, whether it's driving, neighbors, customers, dealing with people at work environment, whatever, stores. It's one of the great maladies of our time. People don't know how to slow down and appreciate beautiful things. People don't know how to be gentle and sensitive and to notice and to be aware. They're just like bulldozing through with their, you know, and then coming to Mexico, it's like the telenovelas, like this massive rant. So just the other day, I'm in my apartment and I hear this loud, like, okay, think of the telenovelas like, I don't know, the Kardashians combined with like some goofy comedy. That's how I would describe it. So it's like noisy, yelling, screaming, fighting, giggling, just crazy, annoying sounds. And this is like a thing that I see here often now. I don't know if it's a small town thing. I think it's a Mexico thing because I've experienced it like on the bus or like in airports, where people just like, they don't use headphones. They want to watch or listen to something and they're in a loud environment. They just like turn it on and crank it up like super loud. So I'm in my apartment and I hear this like loud TV show. I'm like, what the hell? And I go and there's a girl sitting across the street outside another building, staring at her phone like a zombie with this loud TV show blasting from it and filling the entire block. Like it's just, I and this is not the first time I've seen this. I've seen this numerous times here, numerous times, and the look on the people's face when they're looking at this and being blasted by this sound, like this sound is offensive to me from across the street. So for them to have like their face right up to it, listening to it this loud, you know, you gotta be real numb, you know? And yeah, I've seen the people staring at this TV with this glazed over look. It's very disturbing. And of course, you know, I noticed this in Canada and US as well. So this is part of the human condition. This is how many people have been conditioned to live their life on zombie autopilot. You know, that's part of how the events that transpired over the past 3 years occurred by people just do what the TV says, follow the TV, repeat what you hear, and do what everyone else is doing, right? Many people are living in a state of hypnosis and sleepwalking. And yeah, so I I don't want to become numb, but I'm at the you know, before I came here, I was at the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like I was just this raw walking nerve that observes and doesn't miss anything. And so I decided, yeah, you know, I don't want to be like that. That's not a superpower if it controls me, and I can't control it for my benefit when I need it and when it's valuable. So I decided that, yeah, I get to turn off my hypervigilance from time to time, and I get to enjoy loud music. Many of you guys saw when I went to Barra de Navidad, and I forgot my headphones. And I went onto the rooftop in the mornings and I would just like look out over the whole town. It was so quiet. You know, I watched the little animals coming out, the little people coming out with their wares to sell and their children. And then I'm looking at the ocean and yeah, it was just the sun coming up on my skin. And I'm like, man, I wish I had my music. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to play my music on my phone, you know, out on this rooftop for anyone to hear, whatever. I don't care. This is what you do. You want to listen to music? Put it on. You know, when in Rome. So, and I'm like dead serious about this. Like it's been super weird. Like I've been on a like an overnight bus traveling like from here going to Mexico City or like doing whatever. And there'll be somebody who wants to listen to mariachi music at 1 a.m. and they'll just start blaring it on their phone from their seat, filling the entire bus at like 1 a.m. with people sleeping. like I look around and I'm like, okay, no one's gonna say anything, you know, and I'm the obvious foreigner, so I don't want to be coming into someone else's country and trying to tell them how to behave if everyone else is going along with it. But I just kind of observe like, okay, interesting. And I carry headphones and earplugs with me wherever I go because yeah, I have to titrate my, you know, the changes that I'm making in my life. Let me just make sure this didn't get canceled. Okay. YouTube. So yeah, let's big long rant. Super fun. Okay. So let me see. Let's get back to this story because it gets funnier. Okay, so he's talking about how the neighbor and him had an altercation, and then a few days after, the ceiling started vibrating. Okay. So let's see here. He was banging on the ceiling. And all right. Aha, so the neighbor said it started happening a few days after he banged on the ceiling, telling him to be quiet during the daytime hours. How did the neighbor respond to that? I banged back and continued, he said, aghast at the audacity. So, look, I don't know if this guy underneath him was like being overly sensitive or if this guy is legitimately annoying. I mean, what was he doing that the neighbor was banging on the ceiling? He didn't mention what he was doing at the time. Okay, let's keep going. A few days later, this started. So I read horror stories of ceiling vibrating devices, etc. I left him a note after a few days asking him to consider if he's causing it and make it stop. Didn't stop. Then eventually I went and knocked on his door. First time meeting him. He seemed not too visibly crazy. Asked if he had any new steroid. Maybe he means stereo. Any new stereo touching the ceiling, etc. He said he didn't know what could cause it and hasn't been doing anything new. So I'm back to living with it. Now this is really funny. This is like a really good way to handle the super annoying neighbors. You have to act normal and nice and act like you don't know what they're talking about. I don't know, it makes people seem totally crazy, but I've just witnessed so much weirdness in my life. I have like endless amount of neighbor stories, but this is one key to it. Yeah, you always have to act like, huh, that's strange. No, I don't know what you're talking about. Not like you just ordered your little ceiling device, a vibrator device off Amazon a few days ago and started using it. This person says, so I'm back to living with it. I got a small glimpse into his apartment and didn't see some vibrating device pole. Hold on, I gotta scroll out from here. So he's trying to look into the neighbor's apartment and seeing if he can see this vibrating device. I don't know what it actually looks like. I don't think it's like very obvious looking. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, I didn't see some vibrating device pole thing. So I thought maybe it is just pipes or a furnace. Yeah, that's the best. When you can actually gaslight them into thinking that it is totally in their mind or it's like totally not what you're doing. That's the best. Because that's when they consider moving, right? I told you guys I got rid of my super annoying boomer neighbors. And now we have crickets at night and we have birds in the morning. It's great. And yeah, I was just like super nice to them the whole time. Okay. But it came out of nowhere. He says, lately it's driving me crazy. Well, you brought it on yourself for some reason. As for why I don't talk to the landlord, my apartment isn't in the best shape due to small broken things and a stain on the wall. That's my fault. Bad, I know. And I'm currently having an application for a new apartment being reviewed. Aw, like that makes me feel a little bit bad. You know, maybe this person's in a bad situation. I really wish that we could all live together in peace and we didn't have to have stuff like this. Like, I wish everyone could just be happy and people could be considerate of each other, and the people who like the loud noise can live with all the people who like the loud noise, and people who like quiet can, like I just wish, right? But we all know that's not how the world goes. We get to experience contrast, and by experiencing this contrast, we learn what is important to us and what we value, and then we can start moving towards that. We can start magnetizing our heart towards the things that we realize from this contrast that we experience. Okay, so here we go. I don't want the landlord coming over to check out the vibration, then give me a bad reference for the new apartment. So any day now, I hope this application gets approved and I can haul a mattress over there for refuge while I move out officially. But it's driving me mad. And sometimes it seems like it starts shortly after I get home. Oh man, this guy is petty. This guy's got your schedule down and he's coming for you. Okay. No, there's no construction nearby. It goes on for hours, very strong, like a motor beneath my floorboards. I don't know, man. Sometimes when I get home, I feel particularly confident and sociable. I get the urge to go down there and knock again and say, "Are you sure you're not causing it?" Then I tell myself, no. He gave a definitive answer, and that's final. He won't suddenly change his answer. Also, when I asked him, he suggested I text the landlord and ask him about it, which seems like he has nothing to hide. Unless he just wants to continue it for as long as possible or plans to stop if there's an investigation. Neighbor is troublesome, though. He recently blasted music at night. I reported it. Oh, this is fucking funny. Okay, hold on. I reported it, and landlord sent a, this is in quotes, severe message. And he blasted it again that night after getting the message, but has quieted down since. Oh, wait. Okay. Right now, as I lay in my bed, constant vibrating like a motor right beneath my floor. This guy's nuts. I'm not out here trying to invent cracked up theories about my neighbor, lol. It's a normal neighborhood. It feels so odd to experience such pleasant things outside, then come home to this weird vibrating mess. Okay, that's the end of it. So I can't tell how many people I have on. If you're here, can you hit like on this video, please? You can hear some. Okay, yeah. We've got some kind of ambulance, some kind of something outside. You get the authentic Mexico experience. I have all my windows open and I'm like right by the windows. I really like to enjoy the night. Is tonight the full moon or was it yesterday? I could not sleep yesterday, so it might have been yesterday. Yeah. So yeah, there we have it. I'm gonna start coughing. So I'm gonna end this video.